It took a whole damned month to cross the sea. We had to work so hard to sway that man, 120, who sacked the city. Amphimedon's spirit answered, Great General, Agamemnon, yes. I do remember everything you say, and I will tell, in every gruesome detail, the manner of our death. Odysseus was gone for many years. We came to court his wife, who had no wish to marry us, but would not tell us no or make an end. She planned black death for us, and tricked us, too. She set a mighty loom up in the hall, 130, and wove a wide fine cloth, and said to us, Young suitors, now Odysseus is dead. I know that you are eager for the wedding, but wait till I am finished with this cloth, so that my weaving will not go to waste. It is a shroud for when Laertes dies, so that the women in the town do not blame me, because a man who gained such wealth was buried with no winding sheet. Her words convinced us. So by day she wove the cloth, 140, and then at night by torchlight she unwove it. For 3 long years she fooled us. When the hours and months had passed, the 4th year rolled around, and then a girl who knew the truth told us, and we found her unraveling her work. We made her finish it. When she had washed the marvelous huge sheet, she showed it to us, bright as the sun or moon. And then some spirit of ruin brought Odysseus from somewhere to Ithaca. He went out to the fields, 150, to where the swineherd lived. His own dear son sailed in his black ship back from sandy Pylos. The 2 of them made plans to murder us. They showed up at the palace, first the boy, and then Odysseus propped on a stick and dressed in dirty rags. He seemed to be a poor old homeless man, who suddenly appeared, led by the swineherd. None of us could recognize him, even those of us who were a little older than myself. 160. We hurled insulting words and missiles at him, and for a while he patiently endured abuse in his own home. But when the will of Zeus awakened him, with his son's help, he put the splendid weapons in the storeroom and locked the door. Then came his cunning plan. He told his wife to set for us the axes and bow. The competition meant our doom, the start of slaughter. None of us could string the mighty bow. We all were far too weak. 170. But when it was his turn, we shouted out that nobody should give the bow to him, no matter what he said. Telemachus alone insisted that he ought to have it. At last Odysseus, with calm composure, took it and strung it easily, and shot all through the iron axes. Then he stood astride the threshold with a fearsome scowl, and started shooting fast. His arrow struck Antinous, our leader. With sure aim 180, he shot his deadly arrows at more men. Those nearest to him fell. It was apparent some god was helping them. Impelled by rage, they rushed around the palace, killing us in turn. There was a dreadful noise of screaming and broken skulls. The whole floor ran with blood. So, Agamemnon, we were killed. Our bodies still lie unburied in our killer's house. Our families at home do not yet know. They need to wash the black blood from our wounds 190 and weep for us and lay our bodies out. This is the honor due the dead. The ghost of Agamemnon answered, Lucky you, cunning Odysseus. You got yourself a wife of virtue, great Penelope. How principled she was, that she remembered her husband all those years. Her fame will live forever, and the deathless gods will make a poem to delight all those on earth about intelligent Penelope. 200. Not like my wife, who murdered her own husband. Her story will be hateful. She will bring bad reputation to all other women, even the good ones. So they spoke together, standing in Hades, hidden in the earth. Meanwhile, Odysseus and his companions had left the town and quickly reached the farm, won by Laertes long ago. He fought hard for it, and his house was there. The slaves, who had to do his wishes, lived and slept 210 and ate their food in quarters that surrounded the central house. One was from Sicily, the old slave woman who took care of him out in the countryside. Odysseus spoke to his slaves and to his son. Go in, choose the best pig and kill it for our dinner. And I will test my father, to find out if he will know me instantly on sight, or not. I have been absent for so long. At that he gave his weapons to the slaves. 220. They quickly went inside. Odysseus walked to the fruitful orchard on his quest. He did not find old Dolius, the steward, nor any of his slaves or sons. He had led them to gather rocks to build dry walls. Odysseus' father was alone, inside the well-built orchard, digging earth to make it level round a tree. He wore a dirty, ragged tunic, and his leggings had leather patches to protect from scratches. 230. He wore thick gloves because of thorns and had a cap of goatskin. He was wallowing in grief. The veteran, Odysseus, seeing his father worn by age and burdened by desperate, heartfelt sorrow, stopped beneath a towering pear tree, weeping. Then he wondered whether to kiss his father, twine around him, and tell him that he had come home again, and everything that happened on the way, or question him. He thought it best to start 240 by testing him with teasing and abuse. With this in mind, Odysseus approached him, as he was digging round the plant, head down. His famous son stood at his side and said, "Old man, you know your trade, and take good care of this neat garden. Every plant and vine and tree, the figs, the pears, the olive trees, and bed of herbs is nicely tended. But I have to say something. Please do not get angry at me. You do not take good care 250 of your own self. You are unkempt, old man. Your skin is rough and dirty, and your clothes are rags. Your master is neglecting you, although you are not lazy. In your height and face, you seem a leader, not a slave. You look like someone who would bathe and eat and sleep on fluffy pillows and fine sheets, as is appropriate for older people. But tell me this, whose slave are you? Whose garden do you take care of? Also, have I come 260 to Ithaca, as somebody I met was telling me just now? But he was not a helpful man. When I was asking him about a friend of mine, an old guest friend, whether he is alive or dead in Hades, this fellow would not say, or even listen. A while ago, in my own native land, I had a guest to stay with me, who was my dearest friend of all my visitors. He said he was from Ithaca, and that 270. Laertes was his father. I had brought him into my house, and welcomed him with warmth. I can afford to be quite generous. I gave him 7 heaps of golden treasure, a bowl made all of silver and inlaid with flowers, 12 unfolded cloaks, and 12 thick blankets, 12 fine mantles, and 12 tunics. Also I gave him 4 well-trained slave women, beautiful ones, whom he picked out himself. His father answered through his tears, "Yes, stranger, 280 you have reached Ithaca, but cruel men have taken over here. You will receive nothing for all those gifts. If you had found him still living in this land, he would have matched your gifts and welcomed you with open arms before he sent you home. Initial kindness deserves due recompense. But tell me now, how long is it since that unlucky man visited you? Your guest was my own son. Perhaps fish ate him out at sea, so far 290 from home and family, or birds and beasts ate him on land. His mother did not lay his body out and weep for him, nor I, his father, nor Penelope his wife, a wise and wealthy woman. She has not closed her own husband's eyes or given him a funeral. The dead deserve this honor. But tell me now, who are you? From what city? Who are your parents? Do you have a ship docked somewhere, which conveyed you here with friends 300 and crew? Or did you sail as passenger on someone else's ship, which now is gone?" Lying Odysseus replied, "I will tell you the truth completely. I am from Alba, and I have a palace there. My name is Eperitus. I am son of King Aphytus, son of Polypemon. An evil spirit struck me, and I came from Sicily against my will. My ship is docked away from town. It is 5 years 310 since poor, unfortunate Odysseus came to my home. As he was setting out, we saw good omens, birds towards the right, so we were hopeful we would meet again as friends and share more gifts." At this, a cloud of black grief wrapped itself around Laertes. He poured 2 handfuls of the ashy dust over his gray old head and started sobbing. Odysseus felt heart-wrenched to see his own beloved father in this state. Sharp pain 320 pierced through his nostrils. He rushed up to him and threw his arms around him, kissing him and saying, "Father, it is me. I have been gone for 20 years, and now am home, in my own father's country. Stop your tears. I will explain, though we do not have long. I killed the suitors in my house. I took revenge for all the pain they caused." Laertes answered, "If you are really my own son, Odysseus, come home. Show me a sign. 330, let me be sure of it." Odysseus was quick to answer. "First, look here, the scar made by the boar's white tusk when I had gone to Mount Parnassus. You and mother sent me to see my grandfather, Autolycus, and get the gifts that he had promised me. Next I will tell you all the trees that grow in this fine orchard, which you gave to me. When I was little, I would follow you around the garden, asking all their names. 340. We walked beneath these trees. You named them all and promised them to me. 10 apple trees, and 13 pear trees, 40 figs, and 50 grapevines which ripen one by one. Their clusters change as the weather presses from the sky, sent down by Zeus." At that, Laertes' heart and legs gave way. He recognized the signs Odysseus had given as clear proof. He threw both arms around his ruthless son, who caught him as he fainted. When his breath 350 and mind returned, he said, "O Father Zeus, you gods are truly rulers of Olympus. If it is true the suitors have been punished for all the monstrous things they did. But I am terrified the Ithacans may soon attack us here and spread the news around to all the towns of Cephallenia." Scheming Odysseus said, "Do not fear. Come to the farmhouse, where I sent my boy to go with the 2 herdsmen, to prepare 360 dinner as fast as possible." With this, the son and father walked towards the house. They found them serving generous plates of meat and mixing wine. The slave from Sicily washed brave Laertes, and she rubbed his skin with olive oil and wrapped a handsome cloak around him. Then Athena, standing near, made him grow taller and more muscular. When he emerged, Odysseus was shocked to see him looking like a god. His words 370 flew fast. "Oh, father, you look different. A god has made you taller and more handsome." Thoughtful Laertes said, "O Father Zeus, Athena, and Apollo, if I were as strong as when I took this sturdy fortress of Nericus, out on the mainland shore, when I was king of Cephallenia, I would have stood beside you yesterday, with weapons on my back, and fought with you against the suitors who were in our house. 380. I would have brought so many of them down, you would have been delighted." So they spoke. The work of cooking dinner was complete, and they sat down on chairs and stools, and reached to take the food. The old slave Dolius approached them with his sons, who had been working. Their mother, the Sicilian old woman, had gone to call them. She took care of them, and also the old man, made weak by age. They saw Odysseus and stared, then stopped, 390 astonished. But he spoke to reassure them. "Old man, sit down and eat. The rest of you, put your surprise entirely out of mind. We have been waiting ages. We are eager to have our dinner here." But Dolius ran straight to him with arms outstretched, and took Odysseus' wrist, and kissed his hand, and let his words fly out. "My friend, you have come home. We are so very glad to see you. We never thought this day would come. The gods 400 have brought you here. A heartfelt welcome to you. I pray the gods will bless you. Does your wife know you have come back home, or should I send a message?" But Odysseus said coolly, "Old man, she knows already. Do not bother." So Dolius sat back down on his chair. His sons were also clustering around their famous owner, Lord Odysseus, to welcome him and hold him in their arms. Then they sat down in turn beside their father. 410. They had their meal together in the farmhouse. Meanwhile, swift rumor spread the news all through the city of the suitors' dreadful murder. When people heard, they rushed from all directions towards the palace of Odysseus, with shouts and lamentations. Then they brought the bodies from the house and buried them. The ones from distant towns were sent back home by ship. The mourners gathered in the square, heartbroken. When the people were assembled for 20, Eupates first stood up and spoke to them. This man was inconsolable with grief for his dead son Antinous, the boy Odysseus killed first. His father wept, tears falling as he spoke. This scheming man, my friends, has done us all most monstrous wrongs. First, he took many good men off to sail with him, and lost the ships, and killed the men. Now he has come and murdered all the best of Cephallenia. Come on, before 430 he sneaks away to Pylos or to Elis. We have to act. We will be shamed forever unless we take revenge on him for killing our sons and brothers. I would have no wish to live. I would prefer to die and join the boys already dead. We have to stop them escaping overseas. Come on right now. He spoke in tears, and pity seized them all. But Medon and the bard had woken up. They came outside and stood among the crowd. 440. They all were terrified, and Medon said, "Now listen, Ithacans. Odysseus could not have done such things without the help of gods. I saw a god myself, disguised as Mentor, sometimes standing at his side, giving him will to fight, and sometimes rushing all through the hall to make the suitors scatter. They fell like flies. Pale terror seized them all. Then Halitherses, an old warrior, the only one to know both past and future, for 150 stood up. He wished them well. He said to them, "Now hear me, Ithacans. My friends, it was because of your own cowardice this happened. You did not listen to me, or to Mentor, when we were telling you to stop your sons from acting stupidly. They did great wrong. Through their impulsiveness, they skimmed the wealth of an important man and disrespected his wife, believing he would never come. But listen now, we must not go and fight for 160, or we will bring more ruin on our heads." At that, some stayed there, huddling together, but more than half jumped up with shouts. They thought Eupates had the right idea. They rushed to arms, and strapped their gleaming armor on, and gathered in a mass before the town. Eupates was their leader, to his cost. He thought he would avenge his murdered son. In fact, he would not come back home. It was his fate to die out there. And then Athena 470 spoke to the son of Cronus. "Father Zeus, highest of powers, tell what hidden thoughts lie in you. Will you now make yet more war and bitter strife, or join the sides in friendship?" The gatherer of clouds replied, "My child, why ask me this? The plan was your idea, to have Odysseus come take revenge. Do as you wish. But here is my advice. He has already punished all the suitors, so let them swear an oath that he will be 480 the king forever, and let us make sure the murder of their brothers and their sons will be forgotten. Let them all be friends, just as before, and let them live in peace and in prosperity." Athena was already eager. At these words she swooped down from Olympus. Meanwhile, they had finished dinner, and battle-scarred Odysseus said, "Somebody must go and see if they are coming near." A son of Dolius 490 obeyed and went. As he stepped out, he stood across the threshold, and he saw them all near to the house. At once his words took wings. He told Odysseus, "Those men are near. We have to arm, and fast." They quickly armed. Odysseus, his son, and their 2 slaves made 4, and Dolius had his 6 sons. Laertes and old Dolius were also needed as fighters, though they had gray hair. When all of them were dressed in gleaming bronze, 500 they opened up the gates and went outside. Odysseus was leading them. Athena came near, disguised as Mentor. When he saw her, whether Odysseus was glad, and turned towards Telemachus, and said, "Now, son, soon you will have experience of fighting in battle, the true test of worth. You must not shame your father's family. For years we have been known across the world for courage and manliness." Telemachus inhaled, 510, then said, "Just watch me. Father, if you want to see my spirit, I will bring no shame onto your family. You should not speak of shame." Laertes, thrilled, cried out, "Ah, gods! A happy day for me. My son and grandson are arguing about how tough they are." With glinting eyes, Athena stood beside him and said, You are my favorite, Laertes. Pray to the bright-eyed goddess and her father, then lift and hurl your spear. As she said this, 520. Athena breathed great energy inside him. Laertes quickly raised and hurled the spear, and struck Eupates through his bronze-cheeked helmet, which did not stop the weapon. It pierced through. Then with a thud he fell. His armor clanged around him on the ground. Odysseus charged the front line, his radiant son beside him. They hacked with swords and curving spears. They would have killed them all and made sure none of them could go back home. But then Athena spoke. 530. Her voice held back the fighters. Ithacans, stop this destructive war. Shed no more blood, and go your separate ways at once. Her voice struck them with pale green fear and made them drop their weapons. They were desperate to save their lives, and they turned back towards the city. Unwavering Odysseus let out a dreadful roar, then crouched and swooped upon them, just like an eagle flying from above. But Zeus sent down a thunderbolt, which fell 540 in front of his own daughter, great Athena. She looked at him with steely eyes and said, Odysseus, you are adaptable. You always find solutions. Stop this war, or Zeus will be enraged at you. He was glad to obey her. Then Athena made the warring side swear solemn oaths of peace for future times, still in her guise as mentor. The end. About the author. Homer is the name traditionally associated with the authorship of the Odyssey and the Iliad, two of the most influential works in the history of literature. Although little is known with certainty about his life, scholars generally believe that Homer lived in the Greek world during the 8th century BCE, and that his poems emerged from a rich oral storytelling tradition. The question of Homer's identity remains one of the most fascinating topics in classical studies. Some scholars view him as a historical poet, while others suggest that the epics may have been shaped by generations of storytellers before being written down. Regardless of the circumstances of their composition, the poems attributed to Homer became foundational texts of ancient Greek culture and education. The Odyssey and the Iliad established many of the conventions of epic poetry, including heroic journeys, divine intervention, and complex portrayals of human character. Their influence extended throughout the ancient world and continued through the Renaissance, the modern era, and into contemporary literature and media. Homer's works have inspired countless writers, artists, philosophers, and historians. Themes introduced in his epics, such as heroism, fate, honor, resilience, and the search for meaning, remain central to storytelling across cultures. Today, Homer is regarded as one of the most important literary figures of all time. Through the Odyssey, he bequeathed to humanity a timeless narrative that continues to resonate with readers through its exploration of adventure, wisdom, and the enduring desire to find one's way home. Production credits. This audiobook was produced by Pigeon Publishing House, dedicated to the preservation of timeless literature. Copyright 2026, Pigeon Publishing House. All rights to the narration and audio production are reserved. Unauthorized reproduction or distribution is prohibited. Pigeon Publishing House is an independent label dedicated to public domain works. Public domain text used with attribution. Pigeon Publishing House presented The Odyssey. Author, Homer. Narrated by Henry Wells. Thank you for listening to this audiobook. We hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you for listening to this audiobook. If anything you heard today helped you, challenged you, or gifted you a useful idea, remember to support us with a 5-star rating, follow the podcast, and leave a comment with your reflection of the day. And if you want to keep growing, we'll be waiting for you in our other compilations. Pigeon Audiobooks, Philosophy, Pigeon Audiobooks, Finance, Pigeon Audiobooks, Classics, and Pigeon Audiobooks, Top 100 Bestsellers. There you'll find a complete library to elevate your mind and your results. See you in the next episode. And never forget, knowledge is the greatest act of rebellion against the system.